Let's start with the part everyone avoids. Women aren't afraid of a man who argues. They're not afraid of a man who gets emotional, who pleads, who tries to fix things. No, that man is predictable, controllable, familiar. The real panic begins when a man chooses silence. Because when a man stops reacting, stops explaining, stops defending, stops trying to be understood, that's when the power dynamic flips. See, modern women are used to men chasing. They're used to being the prize, the center, the one who decides where things go. They're used to attention flowing toward them like gravity, automatic, unquestioned, endless. And the moment that attention stops, the ground under them cracks. They don't know what to do with a man who chooses peace instead of conflict. Because conflict is a script, and she knows every line. The tears, the guilt traps, the silent treatment, the "you don't care about me" routine. But silence? Silence is a language she can't speak, because silence forces her to face herself, her behavior, her patterns, her manipulations, her ego, and facing herself is the one thing she's been running from her entire life. When a man chooses peace, she suddenly feels something she hasn't felt before, accountability, not because he demanded it, but because his absence exposes the truth she tried to bury. If your presence never mattered, why does your silence shake her? If she truly didn't need you, why does your distance pull her apart? If you were replaceable, why does your detachment send her into panic mode? Because deep down, she didn't want you. She wanted the power she had when you cared. Your attention was her mirror. Your love was her validation. Your emotional availability was her stage. And now the stage is empty. Now she has to sit alone with herself. And that's the one room she never wanted to enter, so she spirals. She doesn't say it. She performs it. Suddenly she's posting more selfies. Suddenly she's reevaluating her life. Suddenly she's texting old friends. Suddenly she's loud about being unbothered. But if she was truly unbothered, she wouldn't have to announce it. Silence exposes truth. Yours exposes hers. And here's the part that stings. She doesn't miss you. She misses the version of herself she got to be when you needed her. The adored one, the desired one, the center. But now, you're the one centered. You're the one grounded. You're the one calm. And nothing is more terrifying to a validation dependent woman than a man who no longer needs her to feel whole. Because now the power is yours, and you didn't take it. She gave it away the moment she mistook your love for dependency. Let's stop pretending. Modern women aren't starving for love. They're drowning in attention, compliments, DMs, likes, thirsty comments. You're so gorgeous, queen. She doesn't just want attention, she's addicted to it. And the worst part? She calls it confidence. No. Confidence is silent. Validation addiction is loud. See, the average modern woman is never alone with her own reflection. She needs mirrors, digital ones, emotional ones, human ones. She needs to know someone is watching, someone is impressed, someone is wanting her, because without that constant stream of validation, she collapses. You think she wants love, you think she wants connection. You think your effort, loyalty, and devotion will be enough. But you are not her destination. You are her charging port. She plugs into you when her battery is low. She takes your affection, your admiration, your emotional investment. Not because she values you, but because she needs the hit. Validation is her oxygen. And when a man stops giving it, she suffocates. That's when the panic begins. She doesn't panic because she lost you. She panics because she lost the feeling of being wanted. There's a difference. Watch her behavior, not her words. When you stop giving her constant reassurance, she starts posting more thirst traps. Suddenly, every Instagram story has a "look at me" energy. The gym selfies triple. The captions get darker, deeper, more dramatic. She starts reconnecting with guys she used to talk to. Why? Because she's looking for her next emotional supplier. She's not searching for intimacy. She's auditioning an audience. And here's the part that stings the most. You can't win this game. Because you can't outgive a bottomless void. You'll pour in affection, consistency, loyalty, love, and she'll still feel empty. So she'll demand more and more and more until you're drained, until you're resentful, until you're a shell of who you used to be. Then, what does she say? You're not the same. You've changed. I just don't feel it anymore. No, you didn't change. You just ran out of emotional blood to bleed for someone who was never going to be full. That's why her panic hits when you go silent, because silence is withdrawal. Silence is detox. Silence is when she realizes the attention source is gone. And now she has to face herself without applause, and she can't, because there's nothing inside. No rooted identity, no grounded self-worth, no emotional stability, just need, endless need, not for love, but for confirmation that she still matters. And when that confirmation stops, she doesn't choose growth. She chooses replacement. Not every woman is like this, but the ones who are, they will never love you. They will love the way you love them. And that's not loyalty, that's dependency. Let's make something painfully clear. Her identity is not built on who she is, it's built on who wants her. Read that again. Most modern women don't actually know themselves. Their self-worth is stitched together from attention. The stares, the compliments, the DMs, the comments, the men who orbit them like planets around the sun, take that away, and her entire identity starts to shatter. Because here's the truth. No one wants to say, she doesn't want to be loved. She wants to be desired, to be chosen, to be wanted, to be validated. When a man gives her attention, affection, effort, she feels alive. Her ego swells. Her confidence builds. She feels powerful. But when a man becomes peaceful, self-contained, and emotionally independent, when he stops reacting, stops chasing, stops trying to earn her approval, stops giving her emotional oxygen on demand, her ego collapses because she was never actually in love with the man. She was in love with the power she had over him. A man who chooses peace is terrifying to her. He's not playing the game. He's not competing for her attention. He's not auditioning for her affection. He's not proving himself every day like a performing pet. He is whole without her, and that destroys her, because her value was never internal. It was relational. It came from how many wanted her, chased her, adored her, worshipped her. When a man stops participating in that system, she doesn't know how to exist. So, what does she do? She panics, she spirals, she lashes out. She'll say things like, "You've changed. You don't care anymore. Why are you so distant? You're emotionally unavailable. You're toxic now." No, he didn't become unavailable. He became unreachable. Big difference. He stopped being a vending machine for her self-esteem, because once a man finds peace, real peace, he becomes immune to manipulation. He no longer craves approval. He no longer fears silence. He no longer needs her reactions to feel real. And that is the most threatening kind of man, because she can't control him anymore. She can't guilt him. She can't bait him into arguments. She can't use jealousy to get his attention. She can't test him into proving his love. He simply does not play. And when a woman who depends on external validation meets a man who doesn't feed it, her entire sense of self begins to dissolve. She has two choices: grow, build identity from within, replace you, find a new source of ego fuel, and most choose the second. Not because they're evil, but because facing the void inside themselves is harder than losing you. Her ego didn't just get bruised, it flatlined, and the man who caused it did nothing but choose peace. Let me break something to you very slowly, because once you understand this, you'll never see relationships the same again. Modern dating isn't about love, it's about control. And how is control maintained? Through emotional leverage, through reactions, through making you feel something: guilt, jealousy, fear, insecurity, desire, anything that keeps you emotionally invested, because as long as you're reacting, she's in control. Most modern women don't argue to understand. They argue to win. They don't communicate to connect. They communicate to steer your emotions. This is why she tests you. This is why she gets distant. This is why she posts those strategic selfies. This is why she says, do whatever you want, knowing you won't. This is why she brings up other men. Oh, he's just a friend. It's all about leverage. If she can make you chase, worry, panic, prove yourself, or apologize for the 5th time today, she knows she owns your focus. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop trying to decode her tone, the moment you stop chasing clarity, closure, or reassurance, her power dissolves. Because her control was never physical. It was emotional. And when a man becomes emotionally unreachable, she experiences something she cannot handle: the loss of control. That's when panic hits, not because she loves you more, but because she can't move you anymore. You used to jump when she pulled away. Now you don't flinch. You used to explain yourself when she threw accusations. Now you just stare. You used to prove your loyalty. Now your silence says, believe what you want. You stop defending yourself. And that scares her, because she can't use guilt, disappointment, or withdrawal to manipulate you anymore. She lost her script. This is when she starts saying, you don't care. You're acting different. I feel like I'm losing you. Notice the irony. She created the distance. But when it no longer affects you, she feels abandoned. Not because she lost the relationship, sus, but because she lost her control over the relationship. And that's the moment the power dynamic flips. Now she's the one checking the phone. She's the one wondering what you're thinking. She's the one feeling insecure. She's the one comparing herself to other women. She's the one trying to perform again, because the truth is brutal. She never needed your love as much as she needed your reaction. When you were emotionally available, she was emotionally powerful. But when you became emotionally controlled, she became emotionally exposed. And here's the punchline. A peaceful man is a woman's worst fear, not because he's cold, but because she can't move him, she can't shake him, she can't guilt him, she can't push him, she can't break him. Her empire was built on your emotional instability. And now it's collapsing because you finally chose peace over performance. Here's where it gets dark and revealing. When a man becomes emotionally calm, when he stops over-explaining, stops reacting, stops chasing, stops bending just to keep the peace. She panics, not because she's losing love, but because she's losing control. And when a woman loses control over a man she once emotionally steered like a puppet, she doesn't self-reflect. She doesn't take accountability. She doesn't ask, where did I push him away? No. She projects. She flips the script. Suddenly, you're emotionally unavailable. You're cold. You're distant. You're not who you used to be. She'll say things like, you're shutting me out. You don't care anymore. You're acting like a narcissist. You never talk about your feelings. But notice something? She didn't have a problem when you were chasing. She didn't have a problem when you were over-explaining. She didn't have a problem when she was ignoring your needs, your feelings, your voice. She only has a problem now, because she can't move you. Let's be brutally honest. When she calls you emotionally unavailable, what she really means is, you stopped letting your emotions control you in ways that benefit me. When she calls you cold, she means, I can no longer get the reaction I want from you. When she calls you selfish, she means, you stopped prioritizing my emotional comfort over your mental health. And the narcissist accusation? That's the final card, because in her mind, if she can label you as the problem, she never has to confront the reality that her behavior caused the distance. Projection isn't just a defense mechanism, it's a power recovery tactic. She's trying to pull you back into the emotional arena, trying to make you defend yourself, trying to make you explain, trying to make you react. Because the moment you react, she wins. Your emotional stability threatens her identity because she built her sense of power around your emotional vulnerability. She was strong when you were desperate. She was secure when you were unsure. She was confident when you were trying to prove yourself. But now, you don't need her validation. You don't need her approval. You don't need her attention. And that is her nightmare. Because without the ability to control your emotions, she has no leverage, so she panics. She claws. She throws labels like daggers, not to describe you, but to destabilize you. Because as long as you're doubting yourself, you're not grounded in your power. But here's the twist. You don't argue. You don't defend. You don't prove. You simply stay calm, and that calm, that unbothered, collected stillness, is the moment she realizes she didn't lose the argument. She lost the man. Here's the part nobody warns her about. When a man stops chasing, when he stops performing, when he stops bending his entire identity around keeping her happy, the power dynamic flips. Silently, completely, irreversibly. Because the moment he chooses peace over validation, something inside him changes. He stops trying to prove himself. He stops needing her approval. He stops reacting to her moods, her tests, her emotional swings, and instead of being the man who is pulled, he becomes the man who pulls away, not out of spite, not to manipulate, not to play games, but because he finally understands something she never expected him to see. His peace is priceless. And once a man realizes that, he becomes magnetic. Women are used to men who chase, men who overgive, men who try to impress them, entertain them, reassure them. But a man who is emotionally centered, a man who can sit in silence without anxiety, a man whose world does not revolve around her mood, that man is rare, and rare is irresistible, because now she is the one who starts wondering, why isn't he reacting? Why doesn't he need me like before? Who else is he thinking about? What is he focused on that isn't me? The same silence that once made her feel powerful now makes her feel insecure. The peace he found becomes her storm. Understand this, women don't chase men who are emotionally chaotic. They chase the man who masters his emotions. Why? Because emotional control, strength, and strength, desirability. The man who chooses peace becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability is the root of attraction. He is not cold, he is composed. He is not distant, he is disciplined. He is not passive, he is powerful. And suddenly, she's the one texting more. She's the one asking questions. She's the one checking your online status. She's the one remembering the small things. She's chasing you without you lifting a finger. This is the shift. Before, her approval was the reward. Now your presence is the reward. Before, you tried to earn her affection. Now, she tries to earn your attention. She used to believe she could keep you with beauty, charm, and emotional leverage. But now, she has to offer something real. Peace, respect, consistency, effort, because you've shown her the one truth that changes everything. A man who can walk away is the man she can never replace. So remember this, you didn't gain power by dominating her. You gained power by mastering yourself, and once a man learns to protect his peace, he becomes the gravity everyone else orbits. Here is the truth that hits harder than heartbreak. She didn't fear losing you. She feared losing the version of herself that existed when you needed her. Because when you needed her, she felt powerful. She felt chosen. She felt important. Your attention was the mirror she used to see her own worth. But the moment you stopped needing her, the reflection shattered. And now she has to face something she has been running from her entire life. Without your validation, she no longer knows who she is. Let's be clear. She didn't fall in love with your soul, your character, your essence. She fell in love with the meaning she felt when you adored her. You were the stage. She was the performance. And your validation was the applause. As long as you were chasing, complimenting, reassuring, and trying to keep the relationship together, she was the star in her own movie. But the moment you stepped back, the lighting changed. The music stopped. The camera turned off. And suddenly, She wasn't the main character anymore. She was just a person who now has to deal with her own insecurity, her own emptiness, her own lack of identity, without using you as the bandage. And that is what she feared. Not loneliness, not abandonment, not love lost, but identity collapse. Because here's the piece no one talks about. A woman who builds her self-worth on being desired will panic the moment she is no longer desired. Not because she lost love, but because she lost herself. You were never just her boyfriend. You were her emotional oxygen tank. And when you walked away, you didn't just take the relationship with you. You took the version of herself she created in your gaze, the one who felt beautiful when you looked at her, the one who felt valuable when you prioritized her, the one who felt secure when you needed her to complete you. Now she's staring at her reflection, and she doesn't recognize it. No makeup, no validation, no audience, no spotlight, just silence. And silence is terrifying to someone who needs noise to feel alive. So understand this, her panic was never about losing a man. It was about losing a mirror, because when you stopped needing her, you forced her to confront something she never wanted to face. She never actually loved herself. She was just addicted to being loved. And that is the final truth. She didn't fear losing you. She feared losing the version of herself that existed when you needed her.